The Wii is one of Nintendo's most successful consoles they've ever sold, boasting over 100.63 million sale units. It is clear that the Nintendo Wii legacy has already been made. I, like many people, grew up with the Wii, and to my memory, it was my first console. I have a lot of great games on the Wii, which I'm going to go over today. My top 9 favorite Wii games. Let's go! First off, I want to say that I'm not going to be using Mario Galaxy on this list because I only had the sequel, Mario Galaxy 2, on the Wii, and I think 2 is better anyways so far. In the game, if a game you really liked didn't make this list, it's because I never played it or I straight up forgot about it. I didn't forget any. And to avoid spoilers, I will only talk about the story of the game briefly, and I'll have a warning for something that is kind of a spoiler. No serious spoilers in this video though, so with that, let's get started. Coming in at number 9, Super Paper Mario. The Paper Mario games are very popular amongst players, but Super Paper Mario never did much for me. It tried to combine RPG elements like having health by a number and Super Mario-like game. Yes, that's right, they tried to give you like health in a 2D platformer akin to Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. Style game. It even had shops to get items and the power of increased stats like an RPG, but it's a side-scroller and that never really made so much sense to me. In some areas of the game, this blend is perfect, but I don't think I'm wrong when I say it's hit or miss for the other areas of the game. The extent of my knowledge of the story in this game is there's this dark magic book that reveals some things about the future, and this guy wants to open it or something. Super Paper Mario also introduced special attacks with actions and little helpers. They may be a Roomba, a fist, a bomb, or this butterfly that only reminds me of Persona 5. The game also had a cool, but sometimes scuffed 3D mechanic. The Persona-like butterfly lets you turn the level from 2D to 3D to be able to access areas that would otherwise be inaccessible, which is really awesome, but like I said, it's really scuffed in some areas. For starters, the detection of the 3D can be a little off because if you're a 2D flat in 3D environments like Paper, it can be kind of hard to line up jumps and things like P-switches or any enemies, for example. But those little helpers I mentioned a moment ago come into play here as well. One of them turns Paper Mario flat and able to slip into small cracks or crevices into the walls to get to other areas you would have to use other characters. Instead of being progressively harder to suit the player's skill, it just becomes progressively more BS. What I mean is that simply progress, you have to go on a high IQ Phoenix Wright level investigation, or to jump 8 times at a red tree just to open a door to move on. In the game, you get more of these assistants to help you pass obstacles and levels, but sometimes it isn't clear which one to use, and there are a lot of them later in the game. And not so much that there are also characters that you unlock that have special abilities that can only clear certain areas of the game. Meaning that you have to find a combination of the helpers and the character's skills just to pass a wall from point A to point B, which takes forever, and there's just a lot of waiting around, which gives this the number 9 spot. Following up at number 8, LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. This game is very popular among gamers for the Wii. It's quite cool and funny and memorable. But memorable isn't everything in a game because oftentimes that gameplay can be pretty weak. I've never really been a fan of the LEGO games, and this game didn't break that trend. As the title suggests, it follows the complete saga in Star Wars, just being in general not very fun, for example. Any of the boss fights can be easily won by spamming Jedi Slam, and their attacks are easily avoidable. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this game is pretty unimmersive and easy, and that's not much more I have to say for that and this. One of the most nostalgic games of my childhood, Sonic Colors, number 7. This game has a rocking OST, by the way. This game follows the usual formula for Sonic games, where Robotnik has captured some animal-like creatures, and star activist Sonic needs to set these guys free. These things are called colors, a very creative title. I can imagine the Sonic team in the conference room, like, okay, we need power-ups without calling them power-ups. What do we call them? Defining feature that what's a defining feature that all of them share together? They all have colors. What should we call them, Jim? Colors. Perfect. The environments from this game, they all have The environments in the game, they go from pretty cool to first grade level of creativity, from a futuristic tropical resort in space to a candy planet. And Planet Wisp pretty much just steam gardens with lesser music. The game has many different play styles and multiple levels, from the side 2D view, where Sonic goes really slow and it throws off your groove and speed because it transitions throughout the level, which is just takes you out of it. Sonic goes really slow then. And then the third person point of view, where Sonic goes fast using the homing attacks and is overall the good and my favorite. Or oblong awkward sidestep mode. These changes throughout the level have made the split among levels would have been 100% better. My biggest complaint is the 2D mode. When you're running fast, feeling awesome, this comes around and forces Sonic to be slow and awkwardly double jump. A slow moving segment in a Sonic game is only a gimmick in speed. His only gimmick is speed. That's the only advertisement that Sonic has. And following up, the only gimmick that's speed, that's a no-go. Also, there's a lot of waiting around. Okay, back on topic with colors. To activate the colors, once you get them, you have to shake the Wiimote pretty hard. Even the detection is off, there's a lot of delay. It's very frustrating in some areas, because there are quick time events where you have to activate a color, otherwise you fall to your death. So you just end up inconsistently shaking the Wiimote. Quick time events don't happen often, so that's okay. With colors like the laser, which are super cool, the camera doesn't even follow Sonic. It just stays wherever you activate the camera instead of following him like an awesome action camera, which is kind of a missed opportunity, not a really big complaint. But for the 3D aspect of this game, it plays great, and if the game was like 3D just like the trailer or the intro, it would have been way better. In addition to the 3D mode, Sonic Naruto runs, which is hilarious. Also, the bosses are pretty awesome. They're my absolute favorite boss battles in any Sonic games. Some of them are. My favorite being the Starlight Carnival starship, which is freaking awesome. Chasing a starship, dropping bombs and shooting at you, and destroying it out of the air was amazing for present-day me, as well as 7-year-old me. Next up, another big childhood game and another big one, considering that pretty much anyone that had the Wii had this game, Wii Sports at number 6. This game is a very good one to play against friends. For anyone that doesn't know Wii Sports, it's a sports game with boxing, bowling, golf, tennis, basketball, or baseball, my bad, where you use the Wiimote motion controls to do the actions like a real sport. Boxing being my favorite and baseball being the runner-up. I really like the Wii games because you can add in some hilarious creations into like boxing. Some of my favorite creations being Hamburger and Ouija, and that's just hilarious when you can make any person you want play any sport like boxing. There isn't too much to say about this game besides it's great, but other games are more fun, so I'll leave it at this and talk about other games more for the sake of time. New Super Mario Bros. Wii coming in at number 5, being a faithful recreation of the style of the original Super Mario Bros. Like Super Mario Bros. DS, or New Super Mario Bros. DS, being, well, a Mario game. One of the things I will say is that there's a lot of levels felt empty, just leaned on the same gimmick or the one enemy the entire level. I think they just slapped some blocks and terrains and enemies together and said, yeah, good enough. Because I played way better Super Worlds or levels on their own in Super Mario Maker 2, which is made by players. If the players are better at the creation of levels and worlds than the actual makers of the original game, what does that make of the creators for these games? But for some of the levels in the game that are actually really cool, more fun, but others not so much. The multiplayer aspect of this game is really super cool, but extremely chaotic, because you're either falling behind or being thrown into the abyss because you can pick up each other. Like Sonic Colors, the boss battles are also pretty cool, but they're just the same as any other Super Mario Bros. Game.